Tell me when.
Boom, 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 boom. We're live.
3,
Boom, boom, boom,
2,
boom, boom, boom.
1.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Yeah.
Yeah. Elite. Yo. Yeah. Slim nigga, lyrically though my limbs bigger than a nigga hitting the gym. Regular bitch pressing the bar, 10 steps up from y'all. You can follow my lead. If you shoot for the stars, I guess you aiming at me. But please hold your applause. You're holding up the wall, goddamn it, I'm on.
And what's up, party people? Welcome back to another live edition of your favorite podcast in the world, Fourth and Goal. Woo! And boys, another week in, another week out. We're already at week 6. How do you guys feel about this? The season is going quick.
Way too fast.
Flying.
For me, honestly.
It needs to slow down.
Insane.
Seriously, I hate it.
I love football too much.
I feel like there's not enough football around the years for me, so this feels like it's going by way too fast.
Football should definitely be like a 365-day year
Oh,
kind of thing.
could you imagine?
Yeah. Oh my lord, waking up to way off topic. Waking up in California and you're waking up to an NFL game. That's dope. How about that 365 days a year?
365 days. Players' career spans would definitely diminish a lot.
They'd be about a season's length.
Yeah, probably a season or two.
I mean, they probably get real tired. How would you decide who wins the Super Bowl? You have to go right back to
Super
it the
Bowl.
next day.
Yeah, that's a little over.
But enough of that. Week 5. Insane. We had a couple crazy games. I know I loved it. Indianapolis coming back down 3. Coming back to win 26-22 against the Bears. Lots of crazy stuff. We got a lot to cover today. And we going to bring it to you.
Panthers are 1-4.
Panthers suck. But
What's going on?
Panthers are
I have no clue what's wrong with the Panthers.
Panthers are 1-4, and they're 1-3 with Cam Newton. There's 0-1 with Derek Anderson.
Anytime you do lose Cam Newton, you can't expect to win that next game. Especially,
Okay.
I mean, Derek Anderson is a serviceable quarterback.
Not at all.
But if he
He
ever
is with
touches
Greg Olsen.
if he ever
True.
touches your fantasy bench, get out of the league.
Greg Olsen fans are loving.
Yeah,
right now.
that was absurd. He had like
Greg Olsen.
182 yards receiving or something.
Ew.
Yeah, it
Which I believe was a career high for
Absolutely.
him.
It was a career over like 160. It was
And he's had a
absurd.
very long, very successful career so
Yeah, he's a
far.
great
So
tight
for
end.
a backup quarterback to be able to find him like that, that's pretty absurd.
It is, honestly. I wasn't expecting Anderson to be able to do that. I thought Anderson would throw for maybe $180, 200 at best, and a couple interceptions. But he played pretty serviceable.
True that. Those young quarterbacks like to find their tight ends, though, often.
Do a nice little safety blanket for him.
Yeah.
How young are we calling Anderson, though?
Let me say-
Yeah, you're right. I meant to say, like, backup scrub, not young.
Yeah, he's definitely backup scrub. At least we're in agreement on that.
Listen, don't do it. And speaking of last week, how about that Thursday night game? I don't think I could ever start another player in a Thursday night game unless their name is Larry Fitzgerald.
Or David Johnson.
I feel like
No.
every Thursday night game every time I have somebody in there, it's a letdown.
No, not every Thursday. I had LeGarrette Blount a couple weeks back. He got 22. And then first week of the season, I had C.J. Anderson, and he went off for like 27 or something.
Yeah,
so
but I mean,
that was great for me. Those are 2 Thursday appearances for me that were on point.
2 weeks ago.
I could use a little bit more of that. In fact, I'm starting C.J. Anderson tonight. I could use another 20-plus performance since I'm versing the Steelers, who are playing Miami.
It'd be pretty dope.
So
you beat.
no, not going to happen, actually. I am planning on taking over, and my team's actually striding right now, is what you could call it.
I guess.
So they're on the up and up, and it's about time to dig in.
Yeah.
No.
Enough about week 5. Because here at Fourth and Goal, we don't like to think in the past. We're always looking ahead.
Positive
We're always those good vibes coming to your ears. Real live, getting real close to the mic. So we're going to kick it off how we always kick it off. We're giving out those game balls for week 5. And then we're heading right into week 6 to feed you that fantasy knowledge. So who's starting us out?
Game ball? I'll start.
Okay.
So this week I picked LaShawn McCoy.
Shady.
Oh, me. Hood.
He played Los Angeles Rams.
Great defense.
Tore him up.
Why are you looking at me?
Well, you're the Rams fan. I want to know what happened with the defense. Can you explain?
Usually,
before I even get into my game ball.
I don't even like the
You can't
Rams.
explain?
Usually when you give up half of your starting defense from the year before, you usually tend to suck a little bit.
That is a very good point.
Just a little bit.
That's a great point.
But nobody saw it coming. I mean, they still held the Seahawks.
They've been pretty
to
good
3
against the
points.
run coming into that game.
Yeah,
no
you
doubt.
got to give McCoy his credit. I mean,
McCoy's
our D is not what it may have been last year, but
McCoy's been
McCoy's
going.
elite.
He's been going off this year.
Elite.
Nobody can stop that man.
Yeah, McCoy is definitely a rare player. He's definitely in the top 5 right now. I think he might even be, I don't know if he's leading in rushing. He's in the top category. But this game, he had only 18 rushes for 150 yards and 2 catches for 8 yards. Not really much there, but just the rushing performance is why I'm giving it to him, because he seems to be like continuing to perform better and better each week. He's getting more carries each week. So I think that the offense heavily revolves around him. LaShawn McCoy is the 4th ranked running back right now in fantasy. So, I mean, it's hard not to give him the game ball every week. But he on the season, he has 85 rushes for 447 yards. So that's coming in at 5.2 yards per carry. That's probably top 3 for the league right now. There's not a lot of good running backs right now in yard per carry average for, I mean, at least 50 rushes. Or not 50, yeah, at least 50 rushes. So, that's why LaShawn gets my game ball. I think you got to keep a close eye on him. See, he might even end up leading the league in rushing yards this season. So I wouldn't be surprised at the end if he's at the top.
And the thing about Buffalo, they really want to run that ball, and LaShawn McCoy is a great running back to have when you want to just run that ball, get the pressure off of Tyrod Taylor. He doesn't have to do as much, and McCoy's showing up. I really like that.
He's a great receiving back, too.
Oh,
Yeah,
without
3
So,
down back can do it all.
exactly. So
It's nice to see him have a
very
bounce back
versatile.
here.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Great guy. All right, who's going next? Who we got?
I got one. This week I'm giving my game ball to Amari Cooper.
Coop.
Went off this week. 6 catches, 138 yards, and a touchdown. They held on to beat the Chargers, which was a nice win for them. Terrible for the Chargers. But Raiders are 4-1 now. Cooper finally caught his first touchdown, which was nice.
You need to get that in.
Probably first of many on the season.
Yeah, he could have had a couple more, too. Didn't he, not get his feet in a couple of
Yeah, it was
times?
crazy.
There was a play
He
at
had
the
a
end of
couple
the
of
fourth
catches.
quarter where
Yeah.
they overturned a touchdown by him.
Right.
And he had 2 other catches in the end zone where he caught them out of bounds, they said.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was pretty
So-
insane. He could have wound up with 4.
Exactly, but he led the team in receiving, and they got the win, which is nice. But he gets the game ball just for getting that 24.5 point PPR fantasy, and I mean he had 6 catches. They targeted him 12 times though. He could have gone off even more. I mean, we talked about those missed touchdowns already, but
that's
even
10.
some other catches in there, he could have maybe reeled in.
That would have been 10 receptions right there if he had reeled all those in. So, yeah.
That's my game ball. Amari Cooper, he's a stud.
Yeah, he is.
64-yard touchdown this week.
Yeah, he's
hot.
He's definitely coming along. He already was last year, and then he got held up with some lingering injuries, but he's definitely going to be a top receiver by the end of the year.
Yeah,
Go Raiders. Well, I got
Raiders.
a game ball to give this week. And that goes to a guy who probably would have gotten a few game balls to this point, but the league wouldn't let him play. And that's Tom Brady, coming off suspension, versus Cleveland. Couldn't have asked for a better matchup, honestly.
Seriously.
What does Tom do? He goes 28 of 40 for 406 yards and 3 touchdowns. I mean, he literally just went off. No one can stop Tom. I think going forward, he's going to rip the whole league apart. So if you were able to scoop Tom
angry.
late in your draft, you're probably pretty happy about it right now. Also, Martellus Bennett does deserve a nod for helping Tom get this game ball because he caught all 3 of Tom's passing touchdowns.
I read something that was pretty crazy. It was that Tom Brady, when targeting Martellus Bennett or Chris Hogan and one other receiver.
Was it Gronk?
No, it might have been one other receiver. It was someone that he had never played with before.
Okay.
He was 15 for 16 with guys he had never played with before. And then,
Wow.
Malcolm Mitchell, maybe?
Yeah.
Might have been the rookie.
Yeah, that's who it was. So, yeah, I mean, just shows you how great of a quarterback he is that he can be on sync with those 3 guys and then never played in a game with them
Insert
before.
receiver here doesn't matter to Tom. He's
Exactly.
going to get done. He's going to get his yards and his touchdowns.
That's why he's the GOAT. So, yeah, that's a great game ball.
Yeah, I had to give it to Tom. First game of the season, the way he went off. So.
Yeah. He's angry, so he's going to keep doing that.
Yeah, I think he'll receive
like
a few
last
more
year.
game balls this year.
Last year they didn't get to suspend him, but they were trying to, and he was pissed off. So he was coming hungry.
Yeah.
He went off for like 5-6 straight games last year.
Oh, without a doubt. But I'm gonna wrap this up, and I don't know if
Always
you guys,
wrap it up.
I don't know if you guys
good advice.
heard last week. I kind of mentioned a guy's name a couple times, just throwing him out there, just a few times. I said, this guy's going to have a big game. I was like, I really like him. Go pick him up right now. Might as well stash him on your bench. The Twitter said it. There was 3 tweets. Real talk. I told y'all. And then what happens? The game ball has to go to Sammy Coates. Sammy Coates, my man, picked him up. He was owned. I wanted to make him my Hail Mary. He was a couple percents off. So, unfortunately, I had to just throw his name out there a couple times. So, but the man, the Steelers were looking for that number 2 receiver right now, and they might have found it in Coates. He had 139 yards and 2 touchdowns on his way to in a PPR league, a fat 28, coming off that waiver wire. And the best part about it is, he proved that I'm the smartest man on this podcast.
Come on.
That's
now.
definitely
He
not
proved
true.
it. Thank you, Sammy
Balls.
Coates. You get balls, game ball. I'm loving it,
Sebastian,
baby.
you will never get good evidence or proof that you're the smartest man in the world. And I hate to break that to you, but I think it's better that you hear it now than go on in life thinking that you would be proven as the smartest man.
Yeah, you're pretty much done, dude.
I'll check that. Probably.
He also dropped a touchdown, which was disrespectful, right in his hands. He could have even gotten more, so he is a big threat.
Rob,
especially coming
the
up
fantasy
against
owners
Miami.
of points. And you recommend him as a Hail
mean-
Mary in game ball?
28.
Enjoy your last game
You
ball,
ate
be your
enough.
best.
Do you really
He
want to eat
could
some more?
have. He could have
Do you
ate some
really
more.
need
He
some
had
more?
room. He just smacked it away.
I mean,
It was weird.
as a man, I take what I am given, and a fat 28 in fantasy, I'll take that.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying
Even
it leaves
though-
more potential to be made. Was my point.
Even
You cut me
though-
off. He's playing Miami, which is
A huge one.
great
Miami can't
start
cover anybody.
yeah, exactly. Getting rid of Brent Grimes was a terrible idea. They're awful.
And look, now, hear me out. Look what
Listening.
they did 2 weeks ago to AJ. Look what AJ Green did to them 2 weeks ago.
Damn right.
Antonio Brown, they're going to
God.
try and do the same thing to him. They couldn't stop AJ Green. The Bengals don't have a second receiver. What are they going to do to stop Sammy Coates?
What are they going to
Sitting
do to
in
stop
that
Ant
flex
Brown? What are they going to do to stop Ant Brown? What are they going to do to stop
Sure.
Le'Veon Bell?
Just
What are they going to do to
triple team-
stop Marcus Wheaton? What are they going to do to stop Sammy Coates?
Oh,
There's too many weapons on the Pittsburgh Steelers offense. That's it.
but it ain't enough.
It is
I
enough.
wanna make a
Miami's
note.
sassy.
The Steelers play Miami, not Cincinnati.
Yeah, Miami. Booty.
They're
Booty
garbage.
Mountains.
I think they're one of the worst teams in the NFL.
Yes, I
They
hate
are.
to give you any type of credit because you don't deserve it.
Oh,
But
it's music
I-
to my ears.
but that is pretty sick that you picked your Hail Mary pick and then the following week he gets the game ball. That's pretty dope.
Yeah, I mean, he decides that. He decides who gets
I mean,
the
he
game
did
ball.
pick his.
But
yeah,
he deserved it. He deserved it.
Like if your
If
Hail
you had
Mary
said-
pick from the week before is good enough to win game ball, that's actually a pretty
true.
good call.
That's true. I was going to
That's a
say, if
good
you had
call.
said that he picked a guy who got him 28 points, then yes, you get credit for that. That was great.
You really started him? You picked him and started him?
He benched him.
No.
Yeah,
But it was coming your way until that breaking
Until
news.
you said, see, this is why you will never be proven to be the smartest man, because there you go, making a terribly stupid decision.
Okay. I didn't say You know what? I did say I was. I lied. I'm pretty smart though. I helped you guys out hopefully, but I
a
started
lot of
John
points on the
Brown.
bench.
Yeah.
I started John Brown.
John Smoke Brown, who got a .5 in leagues,
You started him?
Yeah.
and a 0 in standard.
He got
This
a
man had been
7.5
targeted
Mars.
26 times
Terrible.
in 2 games going
Listen.
up to that Thursday night game. He got a fat 4 targets.
He's going to ball out
What
this
can
week.
you do? He is. Carson Palmer's
you
back.
sit John Brown.
Not this week.
Palmer's
You
back.
sit him till he goes over.
Not against the
guys.
Jets.
He might actually have a
Not
good game.
against the
He's-
Sit him
Jets.
down.
He's playing the Jets, and you also have Larry Fitz out there. There's going to be... And Darrell Revis might not even play. And I heard their other cornerback is injured, too, who might also not play.
Buster Screen.
Can you imagine that offensive scheme going up against him? First of all, who's going to cover David Johnson out of the backfield?
No one.
Nobody.
Okay, who's going to cover Larry Fitzgerald?
No one. But these were questions we had the entire season with the Cardinals. These
Yeah, but
guys
if
have been going on.
If you're saying who's covering
There's-
Larry Fitzgerald,
well, Larry's been
then
eating the whole
nobody
season.
is covering John Brown. But I am starting Sammy Coates this week.
You're not starting John Brown, though?
Nah.
Really?
Yeah.
You're sitting him against the Jets.
No, I said him. I like the Miami.
Remember
honestly,
that for this
Miami's
next
just-
podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
So me and Sebastian can have this conversation next
I'll
week.
even check that. If John Brown beats Sammy Coates, I'll be severely sassed. Two nice matchups.
Who's
It
your
doesn't
other
matter
wide
who you start.
receivers? That's
DeAndre
your flex?
Hopkins and Jordy Nelson.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
That makes sense.
It's got to be the flex, kid.
Yeah. All right. Understandable, but still.
Yeah. I
John
mean,
Brown, no.
I ain't going to go with him. But speaking of players I ain't going to go with, I think we did this intro last time, actually. It's kind of sassy. We're just going to go right into it. This week's a little better, but I still got them bye-week blues.
There's always going to be bye-week blues.
They're making me sad, Mitzi. But
These
this
guys.
week it's a little better.
I'll cry.
Instead of the 4 teams, we only got 2 teams on a bye this week. And that's Minnesota and Tampa Bay. I happen to have 2 players on each, at least 1 player on each team, so it hurts me a little more than your average bear. But I mean, what can you do? We're still going to help you guys out, and we're going to find you those replacements. And we're going to start at quarterback, where we actually have 2 pretty solid guys. Jameis Winston, who really hasn't found his mark yet.
Inconsistent.
He's a number 1 overall pick.
The word you're looking for is inconsistent.
Yeah. And Bradford. Now, you wouldn't think Bradford is good, but Craig, I see you got a little something written over there. You want to just read me real quick what his stats are this season?
Sure, I can do that for you, Bass. He's got...
This is Sam Bradford.
Yeah, keep that in mind, of course.
Sammy Sleeves.
Yeah, Sleeves.
Which is why the yardage makes sense. But, anyways, completions percentage so far to the date, 5-0 for the Vikings. 5 games played, 70.4%. With 990 yards, 6 touchdowns, and most importantly, no interceptions. So he's efficient, and he's not turning the ball over and costing his team possessions and points. His passer rating is 109.7. I don't know what to say, honestly.
Oh, it's
I'm
murderous.
flabbergasted is the best word I can use, because I am a big doubter in Sam Bradford, so for him to be doing this is annoying.
I mean, you're not alone. Most of Philadelphia was. They went and traded him. I mean, it worked out pretty well for him, but it also worked out pretty well for the Vikings. Bradford's been killing it. But with that said, you're probably not starting these 2, but if you are, who are we looking at quarterback, guys? Anybody available?
What do you
right
think,
now?
Bass?
Me, personally?
Yeah.
This should have been a Hail Mary. But I was kind of looking at it, and he's playing San Fran. Now, San Fran, yes, they look good against Drew Stanton. Who wouldn't look good against Drew Stanton? But I'm actually going to give it this week. If you need somebody, go pick up Tyrod Taylor. Now, I will say when we were talking about LaShawn McCoy, I did mention they're trying to run the ball, take pressure off of Tyrod Taylor. Mm-hmm. Makes sense. He's not the greatest thrower, but... any quarterback, you get a run game going, they're going to thrive.
Yeah.
But the thing about Tyrod Taylor is he runs the ball too.
True.
So not only is there always that big game potential in the run, if he goes off in the run game, that's easy points right there. But in his last 4 weeks has not put up really a bad game. His lowest was 15 against the Cardinals. That's understandable. But 17 against New England, 29 against the Jets, and LA, he put up 124, but 2 touchdowns on there for an 18. Wow. So if you need a little spot star, I'm going to go Tyrod Taylor this week, a decent matchup again.
I really like that, Bass. That's a good pickup.
That's nice.
I think that Tyrod has the multi-dimension of being a rushing quarterback and passing quarterback.
You know who else I think can be a rushing and a passing quarterback?
I don't think you should cut on in.
I think we have a... Join fucking one for you. I didn't know what to say.
What'd you just say?
One was hilarious, and I lost.
2 points for Bass being dumb, 0 for smart.
We could do a joint 1-1.
No,
One and one.
we're not doing that. We're not doing a joint. Whatever Bass just said, no. Just no.
No one-on-one joints around here.
All right, who are we going with? I want to hear it.
We're sending that baby
'Cause
around.
I think we're going.
Go ahead.
I'm cutting it.
Go ahead, you filthy rat. Steal my pick again, just like Dwayne Washington.
Stop it now.
Go ahead.
All right. If you need a quarterback this week, I think you should go pick up Marcus Mariota off of waivers. He's owned in only 38%, so you could most likely go get him. This week, he's playing Cleveland at home, okay?
Let's not pick on Cleveland here.
I'm not trying to pick
Again?
on Cleveland here.
Cleveland's terrible. You have to pick on them.
They're not
Go at
looking
Cleveland.
great.
They give you no
Again?
choice.
It's hard not to.
I got to pick on Cleveland.
Pace, they're 0-5. They don't need this.
I'm sorry, but it's going to have to be them. I mean...
Sorry,
They-
Browns.
Like, to opposing QBs, they haven't given up less than 20 points yet this season. Mariota last week looked good. I mean, didn't get a lot of yards, but threw 3 touchdowns and no interceptions or fumbles. Between the numbers last week, he was 12 of 13 for 105 yards, and 2 touchdowns came from in between the numbers too. So he's getting those looks over the middle of the field, and that's it. I mean, I just think he's looking good. So he got 36 in our fantasy league last week. I could see him doing something close to that again. If he gets his yardage up, he could even go higher. Just gotta be careful with the ball. Can't take those turnovers. But I'm thinking about picking him up. I have Russell Wilson going this week, but the Mariota matchup is
I've
nice.
also contemplated that as well.
For quarterbacks, like on a bye, you really can just go for a matchup. If you don't have a season-long guy, you can definitely take a matchup guy every week. And if that's your kind of play style in the quarterback position, then Mariota's a pretty good pick this week. So go check him out, see how you feel. But that's what I got for you.
Yeah, I like Mariota. I mean, you saw what he did to Miami last week. He got 36 points.
Yeah.
4 touchdowns.
3.
Rushing.
Did he have a rush?
Yeah.
I believe he had a rushing as well.
60 yards rushing as well.
I was just looking at this. I was wondering how 163 pass yards and 3 touchdowns was 36 fantasy points.
Yeah, he also added the 60 rushing yards and the TD. So
all right then.
probably even more of a reason to start him against Cleveland.
I definitely got that matchup. I love that.
Yeah,
I like
anything
again.
Cleveland or Miami, that's you have to start, I think.
Or Jacksonville. Or Indy.
That's dumb. We're the 6th ranked defense
Definitely
in
not
the league.
Philly or LA. Never them.
Start everybody against
Tyrod Taylor got a 29 against LA. That's pretty terrible. So anyways, back to my player that I would pick up for quarterback. I'm going with Alex Smith, the young gunner. Guy never throws the yard down past 5 yards, but he's efficient. So I was actually surprised to see that he's actually thrown for 363 yards in a game this year. Anyone know that?
How about that?
That's got to be a career
Must
high,
be.
I think.
By
Has
like
to be.
100 yards.
Has to be. So his average is right around like 210 probably passing yards, but he's going up against Oakland, and I like Macklin and Kelsey to be a big part of the game. Also, Jamal Charles is coming back, and they've been atrocious against the run game this year.
Oakland just allows nothing but yards.
Exactly.
It's terrible.
So I think if you have
All that
an
money they
experienced
spent.
back, Jamal Charles said he's 110%, which to me sounds like he's exuding confidence and feels great. So I think that he's going to have a big game. So if you throw in all the dump-off passes that Alex Smith is known for doing, and then you also have some Kelsey over the top in the end zone and Macklin as well, I think that Alex Smith could get you solid 21, maybe a little more, depending on how the game flow of the game goes.
And the thing about him
Completely
is it's very rare for Alex Smith to have a turnover, so he's never losing you points.
True.
Which is great. I mean, he's not going to put up those fancy numbers, nothing flashy, but he can get it done with the right matchup and against one of the slowest secondaries in the league in Oakland. That's a good matchup. I do like that one. Slade, you got one for me.
Yeah, we've been talking a lot about the good matchups for quarterbacks to stream, but I kind of want to get into a guy who I believe we touched on last week, who does not have a particularly great matchup, but I think you should go pick him up anyway. He's available in 80% of leagues. Brian Hoyer of the Chicago Bears. He stepped in for Jay Cutler, and it's looking like Cutler isn't getting his job back the way that Hoyer's been playing. In his 3 games that he's played in, he has over 300 yards and 2 touchdowns at least in all of them. So I think even with a tough matchup against Jacksonville this week, he could come across those numbers again. Mm-hmm. And the way the Bears' offense is playing, they're over 400 yards the last 3 weeks as well. So their offense is rolling. I think Brian Hoyer could potentially be losing a lot in this game, so he could put up the amount of pass attempts that he's been putting up. Mm-hmm. And I just think if you're looking for a spot starter for, say, if you had Jameis Winston or who was the other quarterback? Bradford. Why not take a chance on a guy like Hoyer who's had a ton of recent success?
Yeah.
And he just has his offense rolling right now.
It's a good pick by judging by how they've performed the last 3 games. But Jacksonville's going to...
Interesting stat, actually, that I'm just reading. Although the Jaguars have been very good on defense this year, they have allowed at least 17 points or more to opposing quarterbacks in their last 3 games.
True.
Or 3 out of the last 4.
They played nothing but studs at the quarterback
could
position.
be a very good streaming option this week again.
They play bad teams, though. But, whatever. You need a quarterback. Any 4 of those guys will get you over the hump. And it's only 1 week. So we're going to move right along to those running backs. And when you think Tampa Bay and Minnesota, you would think, oh, those are 2 stud running backs. Like, what am I going to do without these guys? But this year, it's the exact opposite. We've seen Jaquiz Rodgers, Charles Sims, McKinnon,
Yeah, Jerick McKinnon and Matt Asiata.
And, Asiata.
Cameron
It's
Artis-Payne
a
and
ragtag
Fozzie Whittaker.
bunch, but I mean, with all the injuries in the NFL, people are starting these guys. We got to find them. And I'm going to start you off with a guy that's owned in 47% of leagues, so it's a little tougher to go. But he's got the GOAT back. I'm going with James White. Tough matchup against Cincinnati. But all you need to know is he's got Tom back. In his last 2 games, one which he's had Tom, he really hasn't ran the ball much with LeGarrette Blount there. 4 carries against Buffalo in Week 4, 5 against Cleveland in Week 5. But it's where he gets those receiving stats. So he's a big player to go grab in PPR because in Week 4 he had 5 catches for 50 yards and 4 catches for 63 yards. Brady loves to look at the running back spot, dump it off there, and James White, until Deion Lewis comes back, is realistically a guy you can go pick up and get some spot starts for injured guys. So yeah.
I like that, dude. I mean, anybody on the Patriots offense has a chance to score well in fantasy football because, again, Tom Brady's back, so
Hey,
you can't go wrong with that.
When you get the second best quarterback of all time back.
First, but yeah, I agree with you 100%.
Hold on, check that second.
Check that first.
Check that third.
Nope. Moving along.
Moving along.
I'm picking a young man named Duke Johnson Jr.
Duke Johnson. Okay.
of Cleveland.
This is a guy I've dropped like 3 times. Can you please enlighten me?
Yeah, of course, absolutely. He's a guy who only really gets involved in receiving aspect of games, and I think going up against Tennessee, they're going to be down for most of the game, if not the whole game.
I mean, every
So-
game.
Yeah, exactly. So he has a potential to be utilized. I don't see that many great running backs, honestly, on the waiver wire. So I think that he's your best chance right now in the position of the way that the offense performs and going against Tennessee, which isn't the most solid defense, but they're pretty good against the run. And of course, they have Dick LeBeau, so you're always good when you have him. So, but yeah, that would be my fill-in spot for the running back position this week.
Nice.
Like I said, I picked him up a lot. The kid, he could catch the ball, but unfortunately, what's up, Marley? Unfortunately, he can catch the ball, but he's playing for the Browns.
Yeah.
I mean, and Crowell is killing it this year. It's hard to get him it. But the main point of what I'm saying is he plays for the Browns.
Yeah.
There's
Well, yeah,
not
but there's
much of
people
a
who
fantasy
eat on the
team.
Browns, like Terrell Pryor and Isaiah Crowell.
Truly
Yeah,
accurate.
but when they're eating, there's not enough room. When you do literally, when 2 people are eating and they do everything that Duke Johnson does, he's just not going to eat anymore.
There's not much to eat on with the Browns.
There
offense.
isn't.
Yeah, there's
I
only
mean,
a little bit on the bone.
They're down to their 4th quarterback, or is Kessler playing this week?
Kessler's playing.
Okay.
Yeah, he just had like bruised ribs.
Oh,
Not that it matters.
No,
Yeah.
he'll be all right. He can throw perfectly. No pain.
Exactly.
He's a G. They
Doesn't hurt his
drafted him-
lungs or nothing.
They drafted him in the 3rd round for a reason. Great quarterback.
But back to the waiver claim pickers for the week. For everyone out there playing in PPR leagues, I got a guy you guys could probably go pick up, and that's Bobby Rainey for the Giants. Rashad Jennings is still likely to play a limited role in this game upcoming as well against the Ravens. He only played a few snaps last week, and because the Giants were down early against the Packers, Rainey actually saw a lot of downage. He had 5 carries for 22 yards, which isn't great, but on the other end of the game, he also had 6 catches for 52 more yards. And the week before, he had 7 catches for 43 yards, so he might not be getting you a whole ton of yardage as well, but with those catches, you can't deny his fantasy value. And I just think going forward, Orland's Darkwa is what he is. He's between the tackles, maybe punching on the 1-yard line kind of guy. When the way the Giants run their offense, Bobby Rainey's probably more of a fit going forward. He takes that Shane Vereen role. So that's what I'm going with. He's only owned in 7.8% of leagues in ESPN, so he's available on 92%. So if you guys need a spot start this week, I think the Giants are going to be down again, passing against the Ravens. So pick up Bobby Rainey.
I like that one. Peace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really think if you need a back for this week, this is like kind of a stretch, but I could also see it playing out well. I say you go get Justin Forsett this week.
Ooh, newly acquired by the Lions.
Yes, just got signed by the Lions, and the Lions, as we all know, have had like the terrible running back injury luck this year.
True.
With Amir Abdullah going out.
And now Theo Riddick as well.
Theo Riddick didn't really participate fully in practice on Thursday today. Same with Dwayne Washington. Also has
Yes,
an ankle.
the rookie back. Wow.
Also has an ankle and also didn't participate in practice today. And the other back I think he participated limited. And the other running back they used last week against the Eagles for like their goal line stuff and like first down runs and things like that was Zach Zenner, who only got 9 yards on 7 carries, which
He's garbage.
is not good production. So they might not give him as many looks. And I think with Forsett coming in and all these running back injuries, he could potentially have a day. He wasn't looking terrible in Baltimore. I mean,
It's kind of seemed like they didn't want to give him a shot.
yeah, they said it was a mutual release. Like he kind of wanted to leave, and they were done with him as well. So maybe just things weren't grooving over there or something. But week 1 against Buffalo, he had 10 yards rushing for 41. 10 touches on the ground for 41 yards. And then next week against Cleveland, had 14 carries for 37. And then against Jacksonville, 7 for 20. So nothing really outstanding there. But listen, we're not going up past these past 3 games of performance. I'm saying the Lions need a good runner right now. Theo obviously is going to catch their balls, so if you're thinking PPR, maybe this pick isn't for you, but they need someone to run in between the tackles, and I think Forsett could get it done this week. And he could even be more of a grab for the whole season. Like, you never know. If they're having all these injuries and Theo goes down, I mean, they're going to need a
I
running
agree.
back.
Theoretically isn't much of a runner, so I think Forsett could definitely grab the running back load and take it by the haunches and bucket.
That's what I'm thinking. So I'm going to guess like a 12. We'll get like a 12 this week.
That's not bad, but their offensive line is pretty terrible.
I mean, the Ravens were giving him carries. I mean, there's probably a reason they're trying to give him carries. He's Justin Forsett. He's like 2 years off of one of the better seasons.
A top
in the
5
league.
running back season for sure.
I mean, Forsett gets it done.
And Detroit's playing the Rams this week, who gave up yards, a lot of them, to McCoy last week. And they got some injuries on the D-line, so you might see him get some work in.
AKA, they suck.
Slap.
So, all right, we're moving on from the running backs. We're going right into those receivers. Guys like Mike Evans, Diggs, Vincent Jackson, Adam Humphries. Love that name. But you're going to need some receivers, is what I'm saying. And I got a good one for you. And he's owned. You can get him in about 80% of leagues. And I know he doesn't have hands. But I'm going to go with Davante Adams if you need a spot start.
Ooh, very interesting.
Like I
the
said,
man with no hands.
The man with no hands. Literally going. So like I said, you can get him in 80% of the leagues.
Yeah.
Now, you would think he didn't have any hands, but in 3 of the 4 games, he's gotten a touchdown. So, hands or not, 6 points looks pretty nice.
I'll take 6 points.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll take it. He scored a 12, a 1.5 on the 1 week he doesn't get a touchdown, a 9, which is solid, and a 16.5 against the Giants last week.
That's pretty good.
Now, Dallas isn't the greatest matchup you can have, but it's not a terrible one. If you need somebody, go look at Davante Adams.
Davante Adams isn't a bad pickup at all. He's been talked about a lot recently, mainly because Randall Cobb hasn't been performing well again, and he is also hurt now, so Davante Adams steps up again, but I still have the concerns that I had last season where he drops so many passes. It's heartbreaking for both probably Packer fans and fantasy fans alike because he gets a decent amount of targets, and Aaron Rodgers would probably even go to him more if he could actually hold on to the ball frequently, but he definitely has the potential to go off because he's gotten a lot of touchdowns so far in the season. So I think that he might be just a guy who gets the touchdowns. He won't really get the yards for you, like you were saying.
Yeah.
But he'll end the season with like 8 touchdowns or something like
I
that.
could see that. Yeah, last 3 games, all with a touchdown.
Not
Get
like
one.
3 out of 4.
I thought you said
Still.
last 3. I'm sorry.
That's still
wish.
production.
But like he's gonna go to him for the end zone looks. Like my Hail Mary pick last week, Richard Rodgers got no love last game. He had 1 catch. It's gonna be Nelson and Adams all game, I think. Especially if Cobb is playing or is he just banged up a little bit?
I honestly haven't been tracking him. I'll look it up because
I don't have him either.
Yeah,
I just heard that he was hurt. He's questionable currently. He's has a neck injury.
I've Jordy
great.
Nelson. I don't need him.
He hurt his neck on a tackle, apparently by Landon Collins on his last reception. But they are saying that he was just sore, so I think he'll probably be a go. But who knows how he'll be, performing on the field. A neck injury seems pretty problematic for a receiver who has to make quick turns and jerks and has to keep his eye on the quarterback and the ball.
Yes.
But yeah, I like Adams for a pickup. I mean, anytime you have a good quarterback, you should pick up the receivers. So anytime you have Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers, or Tom Brady, you should definitely get a receiver from that team.
Yeah, I mean,
or Big Ben. Yeah,
touchdown 3 out of the 4 weeks. I like Davante Adams a lot this week as well.
Yeah, he's looking to be. Hopefully, he can actually start being a consistent fantasy football player.
Hopefully.
Guy I want to talk about, also on a high-octane offense, but a less-known guy is from the Patriots, and that's wide receiver Chris Hogan, who actually went off this weekend. He had 4 catches for 114 yards, which was...
Yuck.
That yardage led the Patriots, believe it or not. He only had 5 targets, but he was injured.
He got hurt twice
in the game, but he came back on both occasions. But I just feel like this guy going forward could be the deep threat that Tom Brady has been looking for a while. He's not as small as the other receivers they have there. He's one of the bigger ones. And he just seems to be able to get down the field with ease. So, I mean, he's available in 60% of the league still on ESPN. So, I mean, if he's still out there in your league, I would go out there and pick up Chris Hogan. You could probably stream him not just this week, but weeks in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I picked him up at the beginning of the season and was
started him against me.
I was kind of holding him until Tom Brady got back, but that was making roster decisions difficult because I had Deion Lewis too, and then I had 2 quarterbacks, so there was a lot of space being occupied there. So I dropped him, but then I was lucky enough to pick him back up. I really like his potential. I thought him and Tom Brady had a good connection in the preseason, which is why I wanted to get him, because Brady looks his way. And the fact that he's shown that he can get deep and open, like the 2 receptions he had were for 63 yards and 43 yards last week, and that's great for fantasy football. Those big plays like Sammy Coates, you want those guys who can get huge chunks of yards in one play, because that's what's going to get you points quickly and calm your fantasy nerves. But yeah, I like Hogan going forward. Anytime, like I said, you have an elite quarterback like that, and you have Tom Brady, and he's back and he's angry, so I like Chris Hogan going forward.
Yeah, definitely like Chris Hogan.
For sure.
I kind of want to go to a guy who... Did you know that Andy Dalton is 3rd in passing yards this season so far?
I did not.
Insane.
And only has really A.J. Green to throw to. But I'm going to throw out another name on that offense who performed really well last week in Brandon LaFell. He had 8 catches. Yeah, I know. He's the drop master, just like... I mean, he was actually really efficient. Yeah, just like Davante Adams. He was actually really efficient, though. He had caught 8 of 11 targets for 80 yards, 80-some yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Strong game. Very
so
strong.
He had 22 points. Somehow the Cowboys were shutting down A.J. Green. I don't know how that happened, honestly, but...
Is a mystery.
Yeah, the fact that LaFell stepped in like that and had a strong performance, it was really surprising to me, because that dude, he'll get 11 targets, but he'll only catch 4 or 5 balls, and it's depressing. But he's only owned in 9% of leagues, so he's definitely available. If you need a streaming for a flex or wide receiver or something, maybe throw him in there. They're playing New England. They're going to have to pass against New England. There's no way they're going to be running the ball the whole time, because they're not going to get a big lead. So I think LaFell's an interesting streaming option.
Yeah, I like LaFell. I mean, he showed big play potential in big play fantasy potential when he was with New England. But yeah, another guy who literally can't stop dropping the ball. But yeah, that's a good matchup for him too. I'd give him a look. I mean, he played great last week. He got pace.
This week I'm going straight up because of the matchup. I'm going Mike Thomas on the Saints. Saints are just coming off a bye, playing at home against the Panthers. I think Drew Brees is going to go off. He's going to have a great... He might lead quarterbacks in passing this week for sure. He looks Mike Thomas's way a lot. I think he'll have a lot of catches, probably a touchdown. Only 2 downsides to this pick, though, for me. One is that he's already owned in like 57% of leagues, so I mean, you might be able to get him, you might not. And the other downside is Willie Snead's coming back this week too, so you might lose some looks on stuff like that. But.
Good stuff.
I mean, that was a guy 2 weeks ago. I spot started him, got me a 12.5. I mean, it's a good offense. You can't really go wrong if you can't find the names. Go with that offense.
He's got a nice role as a slot receiver.
Yeah. Did you guys also know that Drew Brees has 10 touchdown passes to 3 interceptions on the season? He's playing great.
Dang.
It just is sad because his defense cannot do anything. So he's
the
putting up
worst
all
in the
these
league.
great stats,
Second worst.
and his team is still losing.
Sad's a great word for that. You got to feel bad for that, man.
I feel bad for him and Phillip Rivers.
Yeah.
I really do.
Gosh.
Feel bad for both of them because they're 2 great quarterbacks that are just stuck in horrible organizations currently with that defensive side
Dude,
of the ball.
I'm listening to the radio today, and they're trying to bring up a debate saying how Phillip Rivers should take more of the blame for these losses.
In what aspect of his game
I don't
plan?
know. I honestly don't know. They're just trying to start this topic, and I don't know. I just thought
That's terrible. Melvin Gordon's averaging like 2.7 yards per rush. If you want to put something on that, put that on that man. That is terrible.
Yeah.
That's lower than Todd Gurley. Todd Gurley was leading the league in lowest yards per carry at 3.1. So if you're talking to me about a guy who's getting you 2.7 in the last 3 weeks,
But
and you want to put it on the quarterback, yeah, you know why? Because Phillip Rivers gets him to the goal line, and then Melvin Gordon punches it in. No, incorrect. He doesn't blow it because he's got 11 touchdowns on the season too. Phillip Rivers is also balling out. When doesn't he ball out? He always does.
Good QB.
It's solid.
All right, and so since I asked you guys with the high percentage owned on that one, I'll give you another one.
Ooh, a bonus.
Just real quick. But this is also high percentage owned. So
Oh
it's-
my
You're
god!
gonna have
with
to
two
be
high
extra.
percentage.
But listen, if I give two guys that are both owned in about half the league, chances are one of them will be available in one of your leagues.
Possibility.
So the other one, Quincy Enunwa. I know we talked about him on here before, but we just found out Eric Decker's done for the year. So I think him and Brennan Marshall will be getting most of the looks. So this is more of even like a season-long pickup. If you can get him now, pick him up. But that's what I got for you.
And real quick, I want to
love that.
bounce this in here. So, we want to get this bye-week blues going. But talking about NWA, the fantasy impact of Decker is going to be huge on the Jets. You lose Decker, that's huge for fantasy teams. I had him in 2 leagues. Horrible. There's going to be a huge uptick in NWA, who is already looking fantastic.
Fitzpatrick really likes him.
They're,
Goes to him a lot.
Yeah.
in my opinion, going to run the ball more with Forte, which is they went kind of away from after giving the ball almost 30 times the first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
There's going to be a big uptick for Forte owners. And another guy, actually, like real undercover guy, Jalen Marshall. He was hurt last week, still questionable this week, but the kid, they like him. He could be doing something. Keep an eye out for him.
You say that, dude. You know what? Why the hell have you not mentioned Brandon Marshall? You don't think he's going to get an uptick in receptions?
You see-
he's going to be the number 1 receiver
No,
for
look,
every
look,
game.
Well, he made sure he got Jalen Marshall.
Yeah, he made sure he named him Marshall. It's just the incorrect one.
Everybody knows about Brandon Marshall. Everybody knows Brandon Marshall gets his. When Decker's there, Brandon Marshall gets
That's
his.
my point.
I'm
Decker's
sorry.
gone, so now he's
I'm
going to
sorry.
even get his.
I didn't think I had to even say.
You have to mention the
I
stud
don't
that's
wanna
going to
do it.
increase in volume.
Don't
Come on.
forget about
okay.
Bilal Powell.
Yeah, Bilal
man.
Powell is also getting basically the same amount of touches as Forte. Forte is an oft-injured running back, so he's probably going to start splitting the role with
In
Powell.
PPR leagues, Bilal Powell's been over 10 points back-to-back weeks.
Yeah,
so
he's-
if he's available in your league, which he probably isn't at this point, I would go out and scoop
Trending
him
in
as
the right
well.
direction.
You know what? Like I said, I wanted to do that real quick, let you guys know. It's not something I wanted to get in real too much. We've talked about Decker.
If you have a Jet, although it's a sad thing to see Decker go, it's probably something to be excited about if you...
Yeah,
You think
I'd have to
you,
agree with that.
It's not that great.
Do you think you trade Brandon Marshall if you own it in fantasy right now?
For what, though, is the
It's
question.
at high value time, trade him now.
No,
Well, yeah,
but you know
trade
what?
him
I'm going
high,
to go
but
out
for
and
what?
try to acquire Brendan
What do you
Marshall on the
mean?
cheap. That's what
Try
I'm
to
doing
acquire
right now.
on the cheap. I think his
Yeah.
price is going to be highest now.
Who?
Before
Marshall?
you know
Yeah.
what he's going to be doing rest
Marshall?
of the year.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be hard to get from anybody unless... I mean,
just hold him if you
I don't know
have
who you could trade him for. He just had his best game of the season last week.
Well, you guys know who has him in the league.
Decker didn't play last week, right?
I won't throw any names out here because we're on the podcast, but
You don't have him.
the person in our league is very easy to trade with, so I might go. put
Your
it-
brother?
Is it
Uh,
too bad?
Your
to
brother
say
has
that?
Brandon
We're
Marshall.
not mentioning names.
We can't even mention
it isn't,
team names?
It isn't who I thought.
Yeah, you thought it was Blockbuster.
No,
Baller.
I thought he was owned by the Hashling Slasher.
Oh, Mackinschleier?
McIntyre's
no.
easy to take people.
Yeah, but no, it's not.
Sorry,
Does
McIntyre.
Mac even have a jet? I don't think he does.
I thought he had Brendan Marshall.
No, yeah, your brother does.
I gotta find out.
I'll
who's
snake
got
Derek
NY.
real quick. I don't care if he hears it on the air.
He probably won't trade him.
right.
I'm gonna have to assume.
That's just cutting in. We're getting back into it.
You know what?
We still are. We're talking about these bye-week blues.
Yeah.
I'm still sad, Mitzi.
I'm
They're
also
making
sad.
me sad.
Yeah,
Someone
I'm
go
a
with
tight end
tight
this
end.
week.
And you know what? We've been talking about Blockbuster Ball. That kid's risky biz. But that's why my middle name is Risky Business. For tight ends, I'm going to give you a weird name real quick. And that's, I can't even pronounce it. CJ Fedorowicz.
What?
Fedorowicz?
Houston
try that.
Texans tight end.
Fedorowicz.
Fedorowicz. Fedorowicz.
He's on the
Okay, so
Texans.
What about him?
Fisher Dadashi.
Yeah.
Now, he's only owned in 0.8% of leagues. You're saying, Ball, why are you giving me this man? This guy is trash. Check that. The man, back-to-back weeks, put up a 12, had a touchdown against Tennessee with 48 yards, and then 4 catches for 61 against Minnesota. Now, Minnesota, that's a pretty good defense.
It's a damn good defense.
Who's he playing in Week 6? Oh, they're pretty good. Not Indy.
The 32 ranked in fantasy?
The 32nd ranked fantasy. And the guy has been getting looks. Now, Osweiler's been terrible lately. I've been saying it since he left the Broncos. Osweiler is not as good as everybody thinks he is. I could be wrong. Go look at the games. Check that. He's as bad as I think he is. But it's kind of easy to pass on Indianapolis because on their defense they have about nobody. I'd give the guy a look. Like I said, risky biz. The guy, but is a guy you can go pick up. He's a guy that could really go off against Indianapolis and get you that start.
He had 8 targets last week. That's pretty damn good. I think that's a good fill-in for your tight end position because Osweiler seems to like him. They like to run this little 5-yard out route with their tight end, and he throws it to him basically every time. I think it's his first progression. Get it? Because he never checks his other progressions.
Too afraid of
But, yeah, I think that's a good fill-in for tight end.
Now, the thing you got to understand, and he is questionable right now. He's been limited in practice. But then you look at the rest of the Texans' tight ends, and they're all hurt. So it's from what they're saying, a little discomfort in his knee. Say those other 2 can't go, he has to go. If it's just a little discomfort, keep an eye out for him. But definitely a guy with a lot of risk, but also a good amount of reward.
Yeah, well, they'll do anything they can to not have to throw the ball to Hopkins.
They
just hate it,
baby.
They don't want to throw him the ball.
Yeah, it's really perplexing currently.
But you know what? I traded for him, so it's going to switch it up a little.
Yeah,
You think that they're going to perform for you? The players you traded for got
Mark
hurt.
Ingram. Mark Ingram, the week after, 18-20.
That is true.
That is true. So I got that magic touch. I got a tight end for you guys real quick.
Who you got?
I'm trying to solve those blues for you.
I'm very sad, Mitzi.
This week, I'm saying go pick up the 19th ranked tight end in fantasy, owned in 21% of leagues, Charles Clay for the Buffalo Bills.
Why would I do that?
I think you should do that because last week he was on the field for 50 out of 55%, or 50 out of 55 plays on offense for the Bills, so he's on the field a lot.
That's opportunity right there.
Now, given some of that is just also blocking for the run game, but still. Last week he caught all 5 of his targets for 73 yards. And this week they're playing San Francisco. So I could see him doing well. He actually has been producing 5 catches in each of the last 2 games. He just hasn't found the end zone yet all season. So if he could keep it up with... Actually, 3 out of the last 4 games he had 5 catches. So if he could keep up the catches and the yards and just find a way into the end zone against San Fran, he's going to look like a good pickup, especially just for this week if you need somebody. Last week he got a 9.5 in our half-point PPR with the 73 yards and the 5 catches. Week before that, 6.5 points. And I'm just liking him. So go try it out. San Fran has allowed the 11th most yards and fantasy points per game to tight ends this year also. So I could see him.
I think anyone. That's another thing. San Fran can go in the same category as Miami and Cleveland. You want to play anybody that you have in fantasy against any of those 3 teams.
Mm-hmm. What's that Chip Kelly mentality, dude? That quick offense, get your D back on the field as fast as you can, so they're tired.
Kill your defense quickly.
It's a great idea.
With Navarro Bowman out, that defense stands no chance.
The middle of that against. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Leader. It's awful.
The guy.
San Fran's the bottom of the can.
Yeah,
I got to fill in for your tight end, though.
Fill me in.
A guy who's only owned in 7.4% of leagues still.
Who could it be?
Richard Rodgers.
Ricky Rodgers. Now, hold on. Didn't somebody tell me about Ricky Rodgers last week and he only got a 1 catch for 6 yards?
Indeed, he did,
Fill
my friend.
me in.
I'll have to fill you in. So they're going up against Dallas, and I think that Dallas kind of had a fluke game last week against the Cincinnati Bengals, so they don't really have as many weapons as...
The
Packers. So I think that it's going to open the middle of the field up for Richard Rodgers for him to get in there. He's probably going to have a touchdown. I'll give you 10 points for Richard Rodgers.
10 points for Richard Rodgers.
Yeah.
I like it.
Good call.
Remember this, guys.
Yeah, we'll also remember this one for next week, so we can talk about it.
Yeah, with the best quarterback in the league thrown to him, that's probably a good pickup any week, in my opinion. I want to talk about another guy who has an elite quarterback thrown to him, though. And this is the 11th ranked tight end you're finding in your free agent wire right now,
What?
I must tell you. Available in 62% of ESPN leagues still. I'm talking about the outlaw, the rook, Jesse James, for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They played 5 games so far. He's a touchdown in 3 out of the 5. So he's getting a ton of red zone looks despite them having Sammy Coates, Le'Veon Bell, D'Angelo Williams, Antonio Brown. Basically a lot of mouths to feed is what I'm trying to say. But Jesse James, I think his targets has increased every week. And I just think going forward, the more comfortable Big Ben gets with him, he could even be a starting tight end going forward. He is the 11th ranked. So if he's available, go out there and get him.
Going against Miami.
This kid's not going to be a sleeper for very much longer.
Yeah, he's going against Miami, so get him, start him.
He also plays Miami. Hashtag pick on Miami.
Hashtag always pick on Miami, Poppy.
All right. So real quick, we're gonna wrap
See
this
or
up.
no?
See or no? See or no? But real quick, we're gonna wrap this up. Defenses. All right. I picked them up in the waiver wire. I'm missing the Vikings. They're on the bye week. I went with the Titans against the Browns. Again, play anybody against the Browns.
Can't go
pick
wrong.
up the Titans.
Good pickup, Bass. I congratulate you on that. That's an excellent idea.
Thanks, G.
Yeah, the Browns are just pitiful. So that's excellent choice, my friend. I would have to say that you pick up the Ravens versus the Giants. The Giants have looked terrible recently. And the Ravens are ranked 6th in fantasy football. Still available in 54% of leagues. The last couple of games, they've been all right. They started stronger on the season. They went 8-8-15. Then they went 3, back up to 6 last week against Washington. The most points they've allowed on the season, though, is 28. And then after that, 20. And then the rest are in the teens. So that's pretty good. They're going to keep the score low. Giants' offense has looked awful. Eli throwing the ball at people's feet. Offensive line not being able to block. Ravens get Elvis Dumervil back. Also have Terrell Suggs and Mosley. I think that they're going to cause problems for the Giants. So if you can still get them in your league, pick them up. They'll be a good spot up for you.
Yeah. Who we got? Who's next? Let's go.
I'm going to go with a risky pick right here. Now, I'm not saying you should go out and pick these guys up, but if you're desperate and your league tends to be a little defensive-heavy, teams carrying 2 defenses, so you don't have a lot of choices out there, there's another offense we should be picking on out here, and that's the St. Louis Rams offense. They've been dreadful this year, so I'm going to go out there and tell people to pick up the Detroit Lions defense this week. Now, they didn't look particularly strong last week, or actually any of the weeks, to be honest with you. They have 2 decent fantasy scores, but I think strictly based off of matchup, that Detroit Lions at home against LA could potentially be a good waiver stream.
Yeah, I like that one. They are missing a couple players, but I mean, when you have an offense like that, you might as well just start the Lions defense. Might as well. They'll probably get you a couple points.
And they are available in over 90% of leagues. Yeah. So if you're feeling a little
hard to beat
risky,
those odds.
You might want to go out and pick up the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just got to gamble like that in fantasy.
Exactly. And Case just
pays
might
off.
throw one to you.
Yeah.
Case Keenum, that is.
Case Keenum could definitely throw one to you. I think he's got 2 or 3 pick sixes already on the year. So you're getting 6 points right there. Ooh, actually, I'm sorry. That's an interception. 8 points right there.
Ooh, check that.
You need that. Yeah, definitely check me on that. You need that 8 points. That's solid. It brings your defense up to the teens, and then you can work down from there. So that's
and then you bring in Jeff Goff over here, and he throws a pick 6 too. That's
Goff.
even more points.
Jeff Goff.
But all right. I know Pace doesn't want to talk about
He's already crying, so we should probably get off the topic.
Do we got any more defenses for the people?
I'll throw a quick one out. Did you put yours out yet, Bass?
Oh, without a doubt.
That's one first.
On Tennessee Titans.
Oh, smart.
That's
yeah,
one easy decision.
Yeah.
I picked him up. I had to talk about it.
Did you pick him up?
You know, I had to talk about it.
I got an easy one, too. Just matchup.
Stop saying it so depressingly.
I'm sad.
Because, dude...
What's your problem?
Yeah, you're right. But I picked this team up, actually, in one of my leagues this week, and that is Steelers defense against Miami.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Miami just sucks. They got no pass game, no run game. Their O-line isn't good. They're leading the league.
Sorry, Juice Landry.
Yeah, sorry.
Seriously.
I hate to do it to you. Come play for the Rams.
Indy.
They're leading the league in percent sacks for dropbacks.
Check that.
So in 9.7% of Tannehill's dropbacks, he's getting sacked. So
They also just cut 3 offensive linemen from the Dolphins.
dude, you told me that too. That's
Check
ridiculous.
that. Might have been a fourth.
Really?
Since the podcast started, they're cutting linemen like.
Well, I mean, they should. They're terrible. They give
Winded.
Tannehill like 2 seconds to throw the ball.
Give me
I'll
2
take
seconds.
some linemen.
This is a 1 week play though, because next week after this, Steelers play Tom Brady,
Oh, I can't wait for that game.
and then they go on a bye. So and they haven't even looked honestly good as a defense in fantasy this year. Their highest scoring game is only an 8, and their low is a -4.
Who is that against?
This hold on, let me look. I'm not saying it.
I believe it was the Philadelphia Eagles.
Check that. Might
Yeah,
have been
against the
Philadelphia.
Eagles, they got killed.
We took the Steelers out back and beat them to death.
Reported a problem. This is strictly for this week only. I'm probably getting rid of them in my league after this week, but I think they're a good play. They'll probably get double digits.
Yeah, I wouldn't deny that. Tannehill loves to turn the ball over, and they love to not score points. So, definitely a good idea.
Yeah, I like that. Getting the steel curtain a little loving.
Get you a steal with that Steeler defense.
That's what are you doing over there?
Biting on my jacket.
Why? Why are you biting on the zipper?
I have no clue.
You stressed about fantasy this
You
week?
know.
I'm stressing, kid.
I can tell.
Yeah.
I'm more stressing about our next segment.
Why are you stressing about any segments, first of all?
Because any segment where you have to go back to back, I mean,
Oh, we about
pretty
to
stressful.
go back to back.
pretty stressful when each week, not only do I have to go back, I have to go back to back.
Well, that's the only way to
And
do
you know
it.
what? I got one for you. I'll start us off.
What's the deal?
We used to talk about Davante Freeman and Tevin Coleman a lot.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna. Nah, I'm just kidding.
For good
I'm not gonna bring that
I was gonna
That was
slap
good.
you.
I didn't see that coming.
But I mean, it's on the same premise, and it hurts me because I have one of the backs. But mine's Jeremy Hill versus Giovanni Bernard, both going against New England. Now, I'm going with Giovanni Bernard, unfortunately. Now, 2-3 weeks ago, I was really high on Jeremy Hill.
Oh, you mean when he had his 20 point performance?
98 yards and 2 touchdowns against the Broncos. Next week, 21 carries. He only had 71 yards, but I mean,
Volume.
21 carries. Oh, then I had to start him last week because Ingram was out. Yeah. And he got 1 point.
Ooh, those are the days I remember last season from Jeremy
Oh,
Hill.
yeah. And then I'm like, I was like, Jeremy Hill, they must have not had any rush yards at all. They must have, no running back could have done anything if Jeremy Hill's only getting 1. And Giovanni Bernard's got 12 points. Okay, that's way better than 1. Now,
Gio actually started the game.
no. He
Jeremy Hill didn't have
it's
his
crazy.
rush until like the second quarter.
They didn't want to hand him the ball. But going against the New England Patriots, I feel like they're going to keep going that way.
Well, they have to.
And that is because they are going to be down, and they are probably going to be down the second Tom Brady touches that ball.
Yeah.
Giovanni Bernard, he's got the receiving game, which Jeremy Hill doesn't have, so if you're looking for a guy, you can have both these guys on there. You most likely want that handcuff. I'd give Giovanni Bernard the start against the Patriots this week. What are you guys thinking?
I think that's a good idea. Would you still give him the start if you're not in PPR league? In standard league, you still playing?
The thing is, Jeremy Hill
Isn't
needs
he hurt?
that.
Hold on, isn't Jeremy Hill hurt?
He played last week. He got
Oh, he had,
hurt
like, some
2 weeks
hand
ago.
injury or
He
something.
hurt his shoulder, and he still played. Now
Okay.
that could be a huge reason he didn't get carries last week.
Yeah.
But I mean, you gotta actually see if he can run the ball, and they just didn't give him the opportunities last week. They gave him 21 and then drop it off.
Yeah. So even in standard leagues, you're playing Gio?
I would start him just because he's going to be, in my opinion, Bill is going to shut down whatever he wants. It's honestly a crazy call, but
Yeah.
they're going to be down. They're going to have to throw the ball, and they throw the ball to Giovanni Bernard.
I'm interested, dude, because Beal is always known for taking out the other team's offensive best weapon, which
AJ Green.
is AJ Green. So I could see them maybe eliminating him, and a lot of the workload goes to Gio and some of the other wideouts.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see, but that was a good pick.
I think Gio is going to take over for a little bit. I don't know if it'll be an extenuated period of time, but definitely against New England for sure.
Probably just this week.
Are you starting him this week?
I'm starting him this week, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry,
Solely
Sproles.
because I don't trust Spencer Ware for getting enough carries this week now that Jamal's back, and I also don't want to start Arian Foster until I see him do anything when he comes back from his injury. So I'm definitely going with Gio. I think it's going to be pass heavy. Also, Jeremy Hill looked to be in a lot of pain on the sideline, and during the game he hurt his chest twice. So he practiced in limited fashion today. I think that he looks like he's probably going to play, but I don't know. He might just be one of those guys, kind of like Matt Asiata, only goal line touchdown for the week playing against New England. But then again, they haven't really gotten a lot of good push in the running game for the Bengals. So I don't know. I definitely like Gio currently.
Yeah, the offense is definitely struggling. But Slade, are we going to make it a straight sweep?
Oh, bring out the brooms. You're done, Jeremy Hill. I'm also going Gio. There's no way Jeremy Hill gets the ground game going against Bill in New England. There's just no way. Gio's going to be on the field for most of the game and then passing situations. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's great.
So, yeah,
PPR.
I'm sorry, Jeremy Hill, but I like you. Just not this week.
I don't like you that much.
Not against New England. Receiving backs is what you want against New England.
If we're Giovanni Bernard this week. I hate to say it. I wanted to start Jeremy Hill, but...
Well, you know the consensus. You can still do it.
I could.
It's on you.
If I was a dumb man.
It's on you at that point.
Yeah, then it would be on me.
Who's next on back to
I got two for you.
Because when I go back, you got to also go back.
Shut up. I'm going Christine Michael, who's playing Atlanta, or Ryan Matthews playing Washington. That's what you guys thinking.
If I had to choose between the two,
yes.
I'm probably going to go Christine Michael, and that hurts me as an Eagles fan. I liked Ryan Matthews' game last week. Thought he played pretty well. But he broke my heart with that fumble, child. And I'll tell you what, I think Doug P. going forward is not going to forget about that. So I could see Matthews start to actually lose his role a bit to the younger backs, given what happened last week. And I like Christine Michael, man. I think he's going to continue to have the job even when Thomas Rawls comes back. He's been running really well, and although Atlanta's probably a bit tougher of a matchup at this point, based on how they've been playing than Washington, because Washington's defense doesn't seem to be very good, I'm probably still going to go Christine. I think he's going to get a heavy workload. Seattle loves to run the ball, and despite Ryan Matthews' chances of that touchdown, I think I'm going to shy away from him this week.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Too many mouths to feed in Philly. If you're going to get a spot start, I'm going Christy Michael. Like Slade said, he's looking good. It's he could keep that job easily. He's looking nice. They don't have Marshawn, so Thomas Rawls has been out. I don't think they're going to give the job back to Rawls unless something crazy happens to Michael. But this week, I'm going to stick with the kid, Christy Michael.
Yeah.
Yeah, only thing... First of all, I don't think really Ryan Matthews is in danger of losing his job. You really think that?
Potentially, man.
There's four guys.
It depends. Some coaches are really strict on like how much you lose the ball. Because I remember last year I had Jeremy Hill, and he was a fumbling machine, and he fumbled I think 2 or 3 times the first 4 games, and Marvin Lewis had it, and he stopped giving him carries for the next 4 weeks.
Oh yeah, I think another fumble like this, especially in a big situation, Matthews.
So you don't know. It really depends on the coaching philosophy on how he feels about it, but he's probably the best running back they have, so I can't see it being too limited of a role, but we'll have to see going forward.
For their between the tackle mindset, he's definitely their best option right now.
Yeah, I agree with
you
guys.
So he probably will keep his job at least for the short term.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think Christine Michael is the way to go this week over those 2 choices we were just presented. But do you guys think there's any chance Atlanta takes a decent-sized lead over Seattle? Maybe they aren't running the ball as much?
I really don't.
Do you think,
I think that's going to be a very competitive game.
Yeah.
I really don't, because I
Seattle
feel
Seattle's defense is incredible still.
I feel like their linebackers are better suited against covering Tevin Coleman and Devontae Freeman out too. The Broncos are great at corner and safety, obviously, with TJ Ward, Aqib Talib, Chris Harris Jr. But and their line, of course, with DeMarcus Ware and Von Miller. But the linebacking's all right. They lost Danny Trevathan, who was great last season. I think that they match up very well against the running backs being out in the flats and stuff, and that's what the Falcons have been doing a lot consistently in their offense. I mean, Tevin Coleman had 140 receiving yards last week.
Dude, that's still blowing my mind every week.
What, that he's that involved?
When both those dudes go off in fantasy each week, I look at it and I'm just
especially since Tevin Coleman was supposed to be limited with his sickle cell.
Anemia, that was the complete opposite.
Balled out. Yeah, they used him heavy.
Yeah, awesome. I put him on my bench, and sadly,
sorry, Denver.
Yeah, Denver pulled out their worst performance. So, but yeah, I think that's the strong consensus. It makes sense to me.
Yeah. So is that another sweep on our hands?
Of course, it's
break out the broom. I
feel like it usually is a sweep, dude.
You're done, kid.
I feel like for the most part, we're usually on the same track for when it comes to the running backs.
Because we're all small and we're loyal.
I don't know. You're 0 for 2 today.
Not today.
You guys want to do another back-to-back? I'll present it to the group.
Yeah, another back-to-back.
I'll throw it up to you guys.
Toss it up.
All right. We're going Terrence West versus the Giants.
Go on.
I'm getting looks. I'm sorry.
Don't get distracted
assessing
now.
the situation here. We like to assess things.
Assessing is the first thing on the nursing priority list.
We enjoy assessing. And Isaiah Crowell versus Tennessee this week. Who you guys got? Bass, I haven't heard you speak in a while.
The two ex-Brown running backs? What the fuck?
Not ex. Isaiah Crowell's still a Browns running back.
And that's what makes this a great back-to-back.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with West. I'm going to go with West playing the Giants. Giants, yeah, their defense is pretty decent. The new revamped defensive line. But Terrence West, ever since, well, I can't really say ever since because
it's been 2 weeks.
Forsett's been gone for 1 week, 2 weeks. But he's really taken that role and ran with it. He's murdered it the last couple weeks. I'm gonna go with the hot hand this week. Crowell has been doing very well this year. Kind of cooled down a little bit, but if you're looking for somebody, I'm liking West against the Giants. How you guys feeling?
This one's a little harder for me, honestly.
It is a tough one.
I think that Crowell has been performing great all season, so it's hard to shy away from him. He obviously had a poor performance last week, but that was against New England, so everyone kind of expected that. You have to dampen your expectations for your players on the opposing team, especially when you're Cleveland. But Terrence West against the Giants. Giants have been pretty decent against the run, like you said, with the new line. I don't know, though. I think that Tennessee is a little more stout on the run D side, so I think I definitely agree in going with Terrence West this week. I don't think he's going to be as productive as he's been. I see 60, 70 yards maybe. But still, he's definitely shown that he's the better back. Crowell has been performing great, but I think Tennessee will have the Browns' number again. So
yeah, it's a matter of offenses, too, when you think about this one. But I'm not going to get too much into it. Slade, who are you going with?
There will not be a sweep this time, boys.
Really?
I'm looking at the schedule currently. And Tennessee might be the last team left on their schedule that the Browns can beat. So you know what? Because I'm calling the Browns' only win of the season to come this weekend. Bold prediction right here.
Only win.
I'm going to go with Crowell because who else is going to win the Browns a game? There's literally no one else besides Pryor. Cody Kessler is an injured rookie. Duke Johnson Jr., well, he may be their receiving back, and clearly he commands the third down position for them. Isaiah Crowell gets all the carries for them.
Absolutely. He's been productive.
He had a season low last week with 13, which is still pretty respectable against New England. Other than that, his lowest was 15, so I just feel like going forward, especially against a weaker defensive unit in Tennessee, not calling them bad, but a weaker unit, not necessarily against the run, but I just think Crowell, with his skills and his ability to find the end zone, I'm going to go with Isaiah Crowell this week, the 10th ranked running back. So
I like it because it's not a sweep. I like the input.
Well said, Slade. I agree.
Oh, an agreement.
Ooh, yes.
I think we talked enough about these guys.
Two Crowell.
Oh, do you?
I do.
Oh, all right.
And you guys have any of these guys?
I don't have any of them. No, honestly.
I'm sitting Hill.
I would love to have them. I don't though.
I personally do not have either.
I would love to have Crowell. I would have never taken him in the draft though.
Yeah, I tried to get West that week where he was on the waiver wire. And,
Crawford had the first pick though.
Yeah,
that's what he took. Yeah.
Took him quick.
That's why I didn't even bother. Sometimes I do that though, and I screw myself. That's how I missed out on Pryor, and that's how I missed out on Jordan Howard too. Ron got him in like 8th.
Too bad. So sad.
Oh.
Slade against his own advice.
Oh, God.
But, yeah, so...
I mean, We pretty much covered just about everything.
Nah. I got something I want to talk about. I got two things I want to talk
We're going
about.
to switch it up right before we do Hail Mary. What are we talking about?
I got two things I want to talk about. First of all, about something that we tweeted out earlier about the question of the day, boys. Is it time to start talking about a possible Vikings versus Broncos Super Bowl?
I think it's a little too early, but I mean...
You think it's a little early?
A little early.
5-0 Vikings, 4-2 Broncos. And Broncos
Tom's
didn't
back.
play last week.
But Tom's
Is
back.
it messed up that I don't think
No,
either
Trevor
of the
Siemian
two
didn't play
teams are
last
going to
week.
be in the Super Bowl?
It's not messed up. It's just a question because I just want to give you guys a breakdown of the defenses real
Let's
quick.
hear
I need to
defense
give you
wins
the
championships.
and I'm also going to give you the
It does.
quarterbacks too.
So there's a run game, and they both have an okay one.
And the quarterbacks are playing efficient as well. So I'm going to give you all of that. Let's start on the Vikings side of the ball. So you already heard Bradford before. 70 completion percentage, 990 yards, 6 touchdowns, no turnovers. That's the biggest thing. 109 passer rating.
Efficiency.
Yeah, exactly. It's literally the definition of efficiency. So when you go to the Vikings defense, they're the best in the league currently. Their third down rate is 23 out of 68 that they've allowed. So that's a 33%.
Dang.
They've allowed no fourth down conversions at 0 out of 6.
Wow,
Only
that's
given
big.
only given up 1,400 yards, and they have 19 sacks on the season. And also, they've only allowed 7 touchdowns in 5 games, which is pretty absurd if you think about it. The time of possession that they allow is 28 minutes and 24 seconds. So, and their turnover ratio is plus 11. The Vikings have shown that they're an efficient team offensively and can get the job done. When you look last week, they scored 31 points, and their defense was on point against the Texans. They stifled the whole offensive scheme of the Texans. So I feel like they're in a good position to have home field advantage. And that new stadium, supposedly it's really loud in there. They get the fans behind them, and they got that great defense. And if Sam Bradford can keep up playing how he's playing, he can be a better game manager than Peyton Manning was last year for the Broncos. I mean, anyone can be better than 9 touchdowns, 17 interceptions, right?
Yeah.
So if you can win a Super Bowl with that, you can win a Super Bowl with anyone. That's my argument from now on. If you think there's a quarterback that's bad, look at Peyton Manning last season, and he won the Super Bowl. So
No, hold on.
No.
Hold on,
There's
because
no
we're
hold
dragging
on.
his name through the dirt. It's still Peyton Manning.
I'm not dragging his name through the dirt.
It's
You just
still
have to
Peyton
take
Manning.
facts. He's still terrible last year.
No, I mean,
5
anybody who
interceptions
gets,
in one game.
anybody who gets sat for a stud like Brock Osweiler, I mean, greatest quarterback I've ever seen.
Yeah, Brock Osweiler is terrible, but that's for another day. Let's go with now the other side, the Broncos defense. So they've allowed 27 out of 69, just a few more on the third down rate, 39%, and they've allowed 50% fourth down conversion rate, which is a lot higher than the Vikings. Sorry. They've given up 1,500 yards, so only 100 yards more. They have the same amount of sacks at 19 as the Vikings, and they've allowed 2 more touchdowns, 9 touchdowns, and 2 more minutes in time of possession. However, their turnover ratio, there's a big differential there because the Broncos only have a +3, whereas the Vikings have a +11. Wow. +11 is absurd. If they can keep that up, it probably will go down as one of the best defenses ever. Siemian is playing efficient as well. 67 completion percentage, 800 yards, 6 touchdowns to 3 interceptions and a 99.6 passer rating. And he didn't play last week, so you have to factor that in. Yeah, I definitely didn't. I thought that Broncos were going to be run heavy. There wasn't going to be a lot of throws, but he's been throwing it deep to Emmanuel Sanders and Demaryius Thomas, which was very surprising to me. But I don't know, guys. I think looking at the way that they're sitting right now with their records, both with the stout defenses, I think that it's a definite possibility that these teams could be facing off defense versus defense in the Super Bowl.
Let me tell you, that would be a fucking knockdown game. They would be bruising up them offenses. Seeing those two defenses, that would be a boring game.
Yeah.
But oh my lord,
would-
it'd probably end 3-0.
I would like it. People would.
I would like it because it would be smash mouth football.
Oh, it'd be
That
great.
would be what I want to see.
Literally every time an offense is on the, it would probably be like almost every single one would be, every single drive would probably be a 3-and-out, and then somebody gets lucky and kicks a long
Sacks,
field goal.
interceptions, could be pick sixes,
Pick
fumble
six.
sixes.
Ooh.
Come on, there's excitement
Yeah,
there.
and Minnesota loves to return punts.
Last
so
year,
you're
the
right.
most exciting play was
Okay.
when Von Miller stripped Cam and Malik Jackson ran it in the end zone. That was the best play.
Strip sack Miller.
That was obviously the best play of the
Loved
game.
it.
Most exciting, so there can be excitement there with the defensive side.
But I don't know, Craig. There's a lot of variables that you got to worry about for that to go down, and I'm thinking mainly quarterback play.
I'm thinking
Sammy
mainly Tom
B-
Brady. I'm thinking mainly Tom Brady.
I was
there's
thinking
no
of
shot the
quarterbacks.
Broncos get there. I mean, yeah,
No shot?
No shot.
They
I don't-
beat
I'm
the
gonna tell
Patriots
you,
last
the
year.
Patriots and Steelers are both playing well. I just feel like there's two.
They beat the Patriots
those
last
two
year.
are too good for
Look
them.
at what the Phillies defense did to the Steelers. You don't think the
bad.
Broncos defense can do that to the Steelers?
They probably could.
You don't think they have better corners and safety play?
They do, but is their front seven is strong?
They have DeMarcus Ware and Von Miller.
Do you think Simeon's keeping this up all year?
I don't know.
Or you
So
think
far,
he's just kind of on like a hot one game?
That's the
basically?
question. That's
Like,
why-
he's had one hot game.
Yeah, he learned.
well, that's the
Peyton
question.
Manning.
Did we think Sammy Bradford could do this for 5 games?
That, I
I did
also
not.
don't think
I
that
did
either,
not.
but I think he has a higher chance of doing it than Simeon does. At least he's more of a veteran and has some experience.
He has some experience,
And a
but he's
better
never proven
defense,
to be a
I
great
think.
quarterback.
Put some respect on.
And plus,
Simeon's
yeah, the
name right
AFC,
now.
man, like Tom Brady, I think's winning the Super Bowl this year. Those Patriots are going to win. I
Nah.
think.
They could. Their defense isn't as great as it's always been, though.
Yeah. I
Defense
know, but-
does matter a lot, especially when you get into the playoffs and those championship games in the Super Bowl, because those games are the best against the best, so they're usually close.
Yeah.
So you need to have a defense that can get you a turnover or a stop or something.
True. That is true.
So it's
yeah.
very important. I mean, the offensive scheme, yeah, Patriots and Steelers, hands down, 2 best offensive weaponry right now.
I mean, we
obviously.
saw it last year: the dominant offense versus the dominant defense.
And what won both times?
That dominant defense.
Broncos D took out the Patriots and then took out the Panthers,
Yeah.
who had the best offense in the league.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. It's definitely way too early to make a confirmation on it, but I thought it was interesting to bring up because, I mean, both quarterback play and the defensive play, the rate that they're both going at, is it sustainable? I don't know. I don't think so, but it'll be interesting to watch and to see what the outcome is.
I find it crazy that did anybody think Minnesota was going to be number 1?
No.
And then even so,
Confidently can
after
say that.
losing Trevathan, Malik Jackson, who had one good play, I mean, did you really think the Broncos would still keep it up there? I mean, they still got the 2 studs in Ware and Von Miller, and you got guys like Chris Harris, Aqib Talib, and T.J. Ward. But I didn't even think they'd be that great, as good as they were last year. And both the defenses are really performing very well this season.
The Vikings didn't have a quarterback going into Week 1.
That's probably the craziest thing to think
somehow
about.
They
they're
did, and his
undefeated.
name was Sean Hill. And he's a G, apparently.
I know him very well.
He won
Sean
a game.
Hill. He did win a
he's
game
part
because
it.
of his defense.
He loves it. The defense is great. I love them. Except they're sitting on my bench this week.
Well, you have to take a bye, man. Sorry, everyone's got to.
I did say that I would play them even during a bye because I swear to God they'll still return a punt for a touchdown. Swear to God somehow they'll end up getting 6 points. But you know what? I'll start Tennessee, whatever.
It's only for 1 week, man. You'll get over it.
But
I promise.
Yeah, I mean, I don't got a week.
I got
I got a
another.
week.
I got another question though.
All right, what's your question?
Interesting one because I actually have ownership in this. Do you guys think Carson Palmer can ever be trusted again as a fantasy quarterback after those past 2 performances?
Oh, boy.
With all that talent there, I think so. Yes,
Yeah, I mean,
still a viable option.
he has Larry David and
Larry David.
yeah, the comedian,
Check that.
and
Curb Your Enthusiasm.
John Brown.
show.
So
Talk
it is a
about
great
Great name
show.
drop.
We love you, Larry.
Larry.
Both Larrys.
Not
And,
fan.
Real nice hands, Larry.
He was very questionable against Buffalo, which is also a suspect defense. 4 interceptions, no touchdowns, threw for 280 yards. The thing is, he hasn't thrown for below 280 yards on the season. So if he can get in the end zone and eliminate the turnovers, he has 6 touchdowns to 5 interceptions on the season, 4 coming in that one game. So it's interesting.
Now I'm gonna say he can be trusted
You think?
because I think the person you shouldn't trust, and it might be 2 people on there, are Michael Floyd and John Brown.
Can't trust him.
Now, don't get me wrong, you can trust John Brown. I'm
you
contradicting
can't.
myself.
Can't do it.
John Brown
Can't do it.
With Carson Palmer on the field, John Brown loves targets.
Now you're
With
just
that
blowing
said, now
smoke.
look at this. Larry's Larry. But last year, John Brown and Michael Floyd were 2 of the more dangerous receivers in the league, and they were on the same team. This year, well, John Brown struggled with the concussions, and Drew Stanton, everybody would.
Yeah.
But Michael Floyd has Where is he?
Michael Floyd
He's
is...
gone. He's off the...
Michael Floyd's a
I can't find
mystery.
him.
Yeah, he's been playing terrible, but I think John Brown is definitely going to be good.
The last time I saw this man on the back of the milk carton.
Last game John Brown had with Carson Palmer, he had over 100 yards and 10 receptions.
That's what I'm saying. I should have said John Brown. I love John Brown.
You guys...
but still, it's not anything what he was last year.
Yeah.
Last year, John Brown was exciting. He scored huge touchdowns, and now it's just like you throw Drew Stanton in there, and you're like, oh, well, you can sit on the bench forever. But I think you can trust Carson Palmer. They've had a rough start to the season. That offense is good. They showed it last year, and they only got better because David Johnson's now their the full-time starter. So I'd make him prove that he can play.
So you don't start him this week against the Jets secondary?
Carson Palmer, no, I would not play him this week.
You wouldn't?
You know what? Make him prove it.
First week back,
Make him prove himself.
Really?
Make him prove himself. He's got the concussion. John Brown took 2 weeks for a concussion.
Yeah?
That's a quarterback. You got to use your mind.
So you guys also aren't starting Cam Newton if he comes back this week?
I have
Probably
to.
not.
Oh.
Really?
I think you start
I am.
him.
Really? So you think you start him, but you say that you don't start the other guy that comes back from a concussion?
I never said that. I never said I wouldn't start Carson.
You were just agreeing with them.
No, I was
Pace
not.
never said
Yeah, you
There's
said
only
you
one
wait.
Carson
You
I'm
said you
starting
wait
this
and
week.
see what he does.
I like that philosophy, but it depends who else you can play. I mean, I don't know.
If you're desperate, you play your studs. But if you have a viable backup, I would get him in the game.
Okay.
You guys want to hear who ESPN trusts less than Carson Palmer this week?
Yeah.
Everyone.
Behind Carson Palmer, they have as the 7th projected fantasy quarterback this week.
Interesting. They still have
Behind
him rated
him,
high.
yeah. I mean, yeah. I was kind of shocked by that. Behind him at number 8, we have Andrew Luck. Then we have Matt Stafford. Then we have Derek Carr, Carson Wentz, Dak Prescott, Blake Bortles, Alex Smith, Brian Hoyer, and then Matt Ryan all the way down there.
Wow.
Did you play any
outside
of those
of
guys
the
over
rookies
Palmer?
and Alex Smith? I would play Carson Palmer.
Wow.
Or sorry, I would play all of those guys over Carson Palmer.
That's what I was kind of thinking too. They have.
I may
all
even
these
play the
guys.
2 rookies and Alex Smith over him.
That's what I'm
Depending.
saying.
I'd play
Carson
Andrew
hasn't
Luck
done
for
anything
sure.
this year. I
He
mean,
put
he had
up
couple
he put up a
good games in
22 and a 30.
Oh, okay.
But then he put up a 3, and
it.
then the 13 he went out with a concussion, and then he didn't play last week.
Do you think we're just hating on him and he really is just having a couple bad games? And he's
It
gonna
could
be elite?
easily be that way. That's why I'm saying,
Yeah.
can you trust him ever again? Do you have to wait and see, or do you play him? Listen, the Jets have allowed like 3 quarterbacks to throw for over 300 yards against them. Andy Dalton, Tyrod Taylor, and I think, who's the other one? There's one more. But regardless, there's a lot of opportunity there. They've allowed 12 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. Like I said, their corners are injured. I think that the front line is the biggest thing you have to worry about, but with David Johnson there, I think he's going to keep them very honest. So it's questionable for me.
Yeah.
He could get you a good game, but yeah, I'm still leaving him on the pine this week.
Yeah?
If I can.
So you'd start Stafford over him?
I would start Matt Stafford this week
Yeah.
over him versus the LA Rams.
LA, yeah.
Absolutely.
Start Mariota
Interesting.
over him?
Would you start Mariota over
Who
him?
does Mariota? Tennessee plays Cleveland. I would start Mariota over Carson Palmer this week.
Yeah?
Yes, I'm picking on Cleveland again.
Yeah, I
I'd
mean,
start-
that's the smart thing to do.
I'd start Andrew Luck instead of Carson
Oh,
Palmer.
Andrew Luck,
talking about
absolutely,
that.
100%.
Andrew Luck obviously is going to be started. He has better stats.
I love Andrew Luck.
Andrew Luck should be trailing most of the game, and he will have to be passing. So.
Always trailing,
Without a
always throwing
doubt.
TDs.
Fantasy stud, number 4 quarterback in the league.
Garbage time greatness.
Yeah, that's what it leads to.
Before I have to change my shorts, let's not talk about Andrew Luck anymore.
Please, I'm so down for that.
All right, so we're at hour 22. High fire. We're gonna go with Hail Marys and let's go watch some games.
Yeah, let's do it.
So I've been starting off most. Anybody else want to go? Because I'll start us off, but
Starting off the Hail Mary best, you think you've really been doing that?
I've been starting off everything.
I don't know about any of that. I think I've been leading you into starting it this week.
Check
They,
that. I'm gonna start it now.
they say you're supposed to save the best for last, but I'm gonna give y'all the best Hail Mary first right here. We talked about him a little bit earlier on the show, but this is a kid that you could potentially pick him up, and depending on how he plays this week, play him for the rest of the year. I'm hitting on that Chicago Bears offense, baby. Kevin White just placed on injured reserve. Go pick up Cameron Meredith for the Chicago Bears. Available in about 75% of leagues right now. He was a big waiver pickup this week because he's coming off an enormous performance. This kid, in his first career start, had 12 targets. He caught 9 of them for 130 yards and a touchdown.
that's
Hoyer
good.
was feeding this kid all day. Alshon who? I mean, Meredith, he's stepping into the role. I was very high on Eddie Royal last week, but I'm seeing the error in my ways based off of how the Bears just played. And I just think going forward, not Royal, but Meredith will be the one to go out and pick up. He, in 1 week, saw all of Kevin White's targets. He seems to be in rhythm with Hoyer, despite probably getting limited reps with him over the course of the season so far. So, like I said, with the fact that he's available in 75% of leagues, the Bears are going to be trailing in a lot of games, so they're going to be passing. Why not go out and get their number 2 receiver right now? And that's Cameron Meredith.
True.
Good pick.
Sorry, guys.
What percent's he owned in?
He's
I
owned
think I missed you say that.
in 28% of leagues,
All right.
actually. A little higher than our normal Hail Mary percentages.
You're
I'm
right.
sorry.
That's a violation.
When
How many was it?
we
28.
started the
28's not
podcast,
too
fellas,
bad,
he
though.
was at 23%. So
Okay.
people have been adding him,
Respect.
even as we've been speaking.
28's not
Okay.
too bad.
No,
So yeah, if he's still available in your league, which I'm sure he is at this point, go out there and snatch him if you need a pick and play receiver this week.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna follow the rules because rules are important. But I'm gonna go with the receiver too, and my receiver is gonna be Detroit's own Anquan Bolden this week, owned in 19.1% of leagues. He doesn't have the fancy numbers, but another guy who's very consistent. The last every week, but week 1, he's caught at least 4 passes. 4 in week 2, 4 in week 3, 6 in week 4, and 4 in week 5. Now he played the Chicago. I feel like was a fluke game. Marvin Jones was there, getting the. Sorry, stumbling over myself, but. Against Philly, he had 4 for 48. Philly's still a good defense. And the thing is, Golden Tate has looked terrible this year. Anquan Bolden is a guy who can go get you a touchdown. He's going to get those 4 to 5 catches. And if you're in a PPR league, that's a little bit extra. Gross. But yeah, if you're looking for a guy, you got some touchdown potential, go with Anquan Bolden this week. Playing the whomevers. Playing the LA Rams. Pick on the Rams.
Come on.
They're frauds, kid.
Frauds, yeah, right. The realest team in LA.
Alright, who's got a Hail Mary?
All right, I got one. Same game, other side of the ball.
Ooh.
Kenny Britt.
Kenny Britt.
Kenny Britt goes deeper than Rashad Perriman's hairline. Let's
Oh,
get it.
I like it. You need a glass of water there?
That was hilarious.
All right.
All right, so Kenny Britt is the man to get if you need a guy this week. He's only he's available in about 88% of leagues, and he actually hasn't been playing bad. 3 out of his 5 games, he's gotten above double digits in fantasy. He's on pace to be a 1,000-yard receiver this year. Has yet to find the end zone, but he still seems to be Case Keenum's number 1 go-to look, especially on third downs. This past week against Buffalo, Britt had 5 catches for 75 yards, which is not bad. And this week they're going to Detroit to play. And I could see the Rams actually playing from behind a lot this game. So Keenum's going to be throwing the ball around. He has progressed. I think Keenum's been getting better every week. He's extending some plays, making passes. Still not getting too many points on the board, but he's throwing the rock around, especially to Britt. 75 yards for him.
Kenny's
last
had
week.
some decent games in fantasy, honestly, like around the 9-10 area.
Not bad at all. I mean, for like a week, I'm saying.
Yeah,
I mean,
for a
he's
spot
had an
in.
8, a 12, a 10, and a 9.
It gives you that Cole Beasley value.
I think it's 10 of my
What are
flex
you
for a
saying
spot start any
for,
week.
dude?
I'm saying Cole Beasley, little Pampers.
You're saying Cole Beasley, little Pampers? I can bet you that he's better ranked than your boy.
Beasley's above 40,
Who can?
Beasley's 28 ranked.
28 ranked.
Let me give you a season: 10, 9.5, 10.5, 7.5, 13.
Okay.
That's definitely
He's
Kenny
only
Britt's
ranked higher because
status.
Britt has a 3, which really brings down his rank. That's the only
But
reason
I'm
why.
saying they're basically the same person. So if you want that fill-in value, that's what you're gonna get.
All right, well, I'm saying Kenny Britt's going to catch his first touchdown this week in Detroit.
Wow, ballsy.
And he's going to get it somewhere in the range of like a 13 to an 18 this week. I think the Rams are going to be playing from behind a lot this game, and if not from behind, it's going to be a gun show. So,
A gun show? You think Case Keenum can be involved in a gun show?
I think he's going to have no choice. I think Detroit's going to be putting points on us because we got our number 1 cornerback, Tremaine Johnson, out with that high ankle sprain. Our D-line is hurt. Our linebackers aren't what they once were. I think Detroit will be trying to get the ball a lot to Marvin Jones on our suspect secondary. And and I think Kenny Britt's going to be involved in the comeback. So let's get it in. Kenny Britt, pick him up.
Check that. Don't do it.
You guys agree with me?
Kenny
like
Britt?
I don't
Agree?
Nah,
We don't have to agree.
No.
No.
Kenny Britt.
What was
No,
the
Kenny Britt's not.
percentage
Like I
Kenny Britt was
said,
under?
Kenny Britt's owning 12%.
like I said, it's not bad.
And he's
for
40th ranked receiver.
Yeah, for fill-in, he's not bad.
We're
at all.
talking about guys that you're going to the waiver wire and you can cop these
Yeah.
guys. Kenny Britt, it's not a terrible
That's
one
pretty
for a guy
solid. You
can
get
go
you got a
and
good
grab.
amount of points, and it's better than 1.5, 2.5.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's called a Hail Mary for a reason. And last
Exactly.
two games, he had a 10 and a 9.5. It's not like
Stud.
he's been like doing nothing. He's been getting points, and if you need someone in the flex spot, go grab him. What you
I-
got, Slade? Or Craig?
I got my uncle.
Don't ever say Slade's name first before me again. I'm gonna
Sorry,
go with.
Slade. I didn't mean to disrespect you by putting Craig's name in the same sentence as yours. My bad.
I know.
Check
it's
that.
Very messed up. Plus, I already had the best Hail Mary of the week, which is Cam Meredith, baby. Chicago Bears.
Him.
Yeah,
Forget
well,
about it.
Slade already.
Yeah, so
Craig
trying to
is wrapping
trip up
it
the
up.
game, dude.
And who will be our final?
I got
Hail
somebody
Mary?
who's owned in less than 1%.
Check
This is
out.
a deep ball right here.
Who we
Deep
got?
ball, baby. But I like the matchup. I think it's interesting. I'm going Seth Roberts of the Oakland Raiders.
Who?
That's right. The guy that
was
whenever he gets a TD, the Raiders win. Apparently they're like 8-0 whenever he gets a touchdown. It's hilarious. But
Probably sees 8 career touchdowns.
oh, he's got actually.
If the Raiders are winning every time.
Well, they're winning the game. That's for sure. But Seth Roberts, he doesn't really get that high of volume, but he gets touchdowns. He's got 3 on the season already out of 5 games. That's pretty good. I'll take 3 touchdowns. You get a TD, maybe even 2. He's not going to give you a lot of extra points, but he's going to give you like a solid 9 to
Check
like
that.
12 if you're lucky.
And Seth Roberts, it's a guy that like every Sunday I see his name and I'm like, who the hell is this guy? And then I realize he's a player for the Oakland Raiders. I'm like, oh, no reason. I don't care about him. Yeah, I think that's about it, guys. I think we covered everything. We officially have ran out of fantasy knowledge to give you guys. We got to keep some for ourselves for those 10-yard catches by Antonio Gates on the first drive. Yeah, but all right.
All right, let's
Shout out the handles and we'll get out of here.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. Hit us up on YouTube. Follow us. 4th and Goal is the channel name. Hit us with the subscribe. Live broadcast every Thursday at 7 p.m. Give or take an hour.
Sometime around there.
Otherwise, subscribe to us there. Twitter, hit us with hit us with the follow. That's at 4th and Goal Cast. We are always tweeting on that, always responding, answering questions, putting out polls, following back, all that nonsense. So hit us with the questions. We'll answer them on the podcast next week. Same thing with the YouTube comments. Put some questions in there for us too. Use the hashtag 4th and Goal. Also follow us on SoundCloud and Stitcher if that's convenient for you guys. There's apps on Android and iOS for you to download that and follow us, making it as convenient as possible.
Do it.
And still waiting for iTunes one more week. I guess they are slow as hell, so we'll keep you posted on that, because if we could get up on iTunes, that'd be great. Big exposure for us, so we'll see. And that's it, guys. Say your piece.
All right, we're signing off. So I'll see you all next week. Get some new picks for you.
Yeah, and just remember, just did.
Everybody have a good week. Let's enjoy these games. Should
All
be
right,
fun.
let's get to it. Have a good Thursday.
Go Rams.
Go Indy.
Go
Go
Eagles.
Jags.
We'll go Eagles.
Just
Andrew
that.
Luck's a G. If you're still listening live, I'm also a pimp.
We're still live.
Oh, I'm also